So I want to note that this is probably the third video that I'm doing within this realm and or this category. I've commonly told people before that, if you don't live long enough to die the hero, you live long enough to become the villain. And for the longest time possible, people have tried to tell me that I am the villain. I am the causation of a lot of things. And I'm sitting comfortably in that chair and I'm completely fine with it. The only thing that I happen to tell people to do is to just kindly just leave me alone. If you don't want me to say certain things or to bring certain things up or to showcase those things, then all you have to do is just leave me alone and I'll just focus on whatever else. The moment in time that you decide that you want to darken my doorstep, now you're going to hear me talk. Now you're going to hear me speak, and I have to showcase the proof so that I can shut the out of a lot of other people that want to try to stay otherwise. Because again, a lot of people are like, oh, but Seiji, you're just talking about, these women. What proof do you have that they're online saying these? No problem. I got you. Watch me cook.
This battle is about to explode. Live and let die.
So as a social media content creator, these are some of the comments that you can see directly in front of you that I happen to see on an everyday basis. I especially seen a lot of these comments, and especially from an older demographic when it dealt with Kevin Samuels. I just saw fields of women, specifically American women, just all over social media, cleaning glasses, tapping their red bottom shoes like Dorothy. They were just going out on a shopping excursion like this made their next 40 years. Like there were so many women of a specific, very specific demographic that were ecstatic and happy of hearing the news of Kevin Samuels passing, as if this was a person, as if this was a man that specifically did anything to them physically, as if he abandoned them, left them, or whatnot, or whatever. Crazy work, right? So now we're looking at Tory Lanez. And for those who don't live under a rock, people are able to hear that Tory Lanez, inevitably in prison, was stabbed multiple times, 14 as a matter of fact. And these are some of the comments that you are able to see, right? One person said, what happened before that though? Another person said, someone had to bend down low enough to go after Tory Lanez. That's why his injuries wasn't life-threatening. Again, making a joke out of the situation. Another person said, I hope that the person who went after Tory Lanez knows that he made so many people's week. Like we really needed that, right? As if this was a game changer, like this really put money in their pockets and a roof over their head, right? Another person said, me liking every Tory Lanez post about the incident. Another person said, Chris Brown is arrested, Diddy is in court, Tory Lanez ended up getting injured, and DDG receives a restraining order. Again, these are all black men, and obviously this woman is ecstatic about every single thing that is, having to do with black men, negatively in the headline. Another person said, Tory Lanez was injured 14 times, DDG possibly going to jail, and Chris Brown arrested. Yes. It said, Diddy on trial, scared, Tory Lanez injured by Mexicans, Chris Brown in jail dancing for inmates, and has the picture, or it was a gift of Fantasia singing a song from American Idol after she won called I've Been Waiting for a Moment Like This. Another person said, how I'm going to sleep knowing Tory Lanez is getting injured in prison, right? Basically sleeping like a baby. Another person said, Tory Lanez was injured and it's sunny outside. It's going to be a good week. Another person said, not at work, Tory Lanez is injured and Indian food is on the way. So this was a gift of the person just, DJing and playing music, just living it up. Another person said, Tory Lanez probably wasn't even injured. You know how he likes to have consensual relationships with multiple women, and using the Meg Thee Stallion picture to say, wah, 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 wah. Not least, this person said, me liking every post about Tory Lanez getting injured in prison. Like I said before, this, just like when it happened with Kevin Samuels, this is very disgusting and abhorrent behavior. for women out here to be just having jubilation, such jubilation that this was taking place to a black man is insane. And as I stated before, even in the live stream, that it's funny to me that these women out here would act in this type of way when it deals with Tory Lanez. But yet you got your fathers out there, you got your uncles out there, you got your boyfriends or your ex-boyfriends, you got your baby fathers out there, you got friends and family, you got all of these guys that you could really have this animosity towards, but you don't. You're still cordial, you still talk to them, you still go to gatherings and see them, you might even call them up on the phone. But you want to have all of this energy for a man who never specifically did any type of physical or mental harm to you, nor has he even been in your life, nor does this man even know of your existence. But you have all of this energy, you have all of this veracity, this hatred towards him, but yet you have none for people that have actually perpetrated certain types of crimes or placed emotional baggage and or hurt directly on you and impeded on your life in a multitude of ways. That's crazy. It's 100% crazy, and that is diabolical. Like I said before, it's very disgusting, and I promise you that a lot of those women directly out there more than likely have sons or will have a son. But yet this is how they talk and this is how they act online. And the main thing that I want to happen to tell a lot of women, because I know that a lot are going to, not make it past the other part of the video, that whatever energy that y'all putting out towards these men and you're wishing the utmost harm on them for no reason at all, I want you to understand that that same energy is going to be transferred to your situation. So if you just so happen to have a son, guess what? Something may happen. If you may have men in your family that you actually love and care about, or friends, guess what? Something now may happen because you're placing unnecessary negative energy out there and trying to hope and wish that this falls onto a specific type of person, when inadvertently is going to fall on somebody within your life. And that's usually how it works. But like I said, a lot of people don't want to be accountable or responsible or acknowledge their faults and how it is that a lot of things transpire and take place. Now I'm about to show you how truly disgusting this is, and how it is that these women out here are highly problematic, and they don't care who it is that they have to support in order to get their feelings met or to get the results that they specifically want.
Now, find a new rival.
This is back from November 13th of 2003. It says, suspect, age 22. Relatives testify at the murder of 13-year-old at trial. They said two relatives heard 22-year-old Santino Sonny Casio, who was the person that went after Tory Lanez in prison, arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend. Let me repeat that one more time. Two relatives heard 22-year-old Santino Sonny Casio arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend minutes before she was aimed at in the face with a weapon. They testified that Casio's trial Wednesday. Casio was facing murder charges for the deceasement of his girlfriend, along with a special allegation that the crime was committed with a firearm. He is also accused of two separate attempted murders with special allegations of using a knife and causing great bodily injury. His trial began Monday before Commissioner John Murphy at the Michael D. Antonovich Antelope Valley Courthouse. Ruby Perez, who was Casio's cousin, lived with the defendant and his 13-year-old girlfriend, Evelyn Brenda Jess, in Perez's apartment in the 1100 block of East Avenue, age 14. Perez was getting ready to go out with a friend, Elaine Gonzalez, who was also a relative of Casio, about 10 p.m. on June 8th of 2002. When they heard Casio and Sendijas fighting and Perez saw Sendijas crying, she testified. Gonzalez and Perez went outside so that Perez could smoke. Minutes later, they heard a gunshot blast, Perez stated. Within seconds of the shot, Perez and Gonzalez testified that they saw Casio running from the home. Quote, "I met Sonny, Casio, at the door," Gonzalez stated. Quote, "He just looked really pale and shocked or scared and said, 'I've got to get out of here.' He looked like a zombie," Perez confirmed. Minutes into testimony Wednesday, SEIJIHITO's mother went from quiet tears to loud sobs, and court was recessed briefly. The mustached Casio sat attentively at the table beside his defense attorney, scribbling notes. Strapped to his chair by a chain imperceptible to the jurors, Casio wore what appeared to be a paw print tattoo on the back of his shaven head and a somber black shirt and pants as he listened to the details of that night spill forth. Gonzalez stated that after she heard the gunshots, she ran into the apartment, scooped up her kids who were watching cartoons, and ran away. Perez also ran inside the apartment and stopped just outside of Casio and Kajina's room, where she saw a smoking weapon lying on the floor. Quote, "I just stood by the door to listen," Perez stated. "You didn't hear anything, did you?" the defense attorney said. "No," Perez stated, choking back tears. When she didn't hear Kajina's making any noise, she grabbed her purse and fled the apartment. That night, she used some narcotics, Perez stated. Quote, "I was high. I was scared. I didn't know what to do," she said. She returned hours later and reported her story to investigators. Casio remained in hiding for nearly 2 weeks until he was found on June 20th. It appeared only Casio knows what happened inside of the bedroom when Kajina's was aimed at. Daniel Akin, a coroner employee, testified that the weapon must have been about 4 inches from Kajina's face. They later showed pictures of the wound and displayed them in the courts. Atkins also stated that Kajina's had black powder transferred or residue of unexpended gunpowder on her index finger that could have been from any type of handling of the weapon, including pulling the trigger or shielding her face.
Oh, God. We're cooked.
So let me get this straight. So the hatred runs so deep for black men that you have women out here going out of their way talking about, hey, I'm going to put some money on his books. I'm going to buy him some cigarettes or whatnot or whatever. He just really made our week. He just doesn't even understand. Y'all are so hateful towards black men that you are willing to back anybody that is going to do something to us, even if we never did anything to you. But that's how deep the hatred runs. And the hatred runs so deep, I might add, that you're willing to back a man that literally stated in court documents that he had a relationship and that he had a living girlfriend that is 13. This is where we are in a society where we have women that want to back men like this because they hate black men so much. I've never in my lifetime been able to witness such disgusting behavior ever. Like I said, social media is a blessing and a curse. Because before, where I was ignorant of a lot of things of how it is that women basically felt about black men, that was because we didn't have social media. That's because if there was an echo chamber or these groups of women or what have you that were there, they were just off in their own little corners. Whatever town, city, or apartment complex that they were in. Now we have, instead of it being like an echo chamber, it's just a concert. it's a concert, and this concert is going on and it's happening all day, every day on social media, non-stop. They're just out there river dancing. They out there just raving, throwing bowls, right? Stilettos, pumps in the club. That's what they're doing. And I promise you that if black men were to have mentioned things like this 10 plus years ago, society and everybody else would have never believed them. But now we're at a point in time where you can actually go on things like X, aka Twitter, YouTube, IG, TikTok, and elsewhere, and you can view and listen and watch these women talk like this live. And again, I'm the type of platform where I've actually given you vocals of women stating how much it is that they loathe or hate black men and the types of things negative that they wish upon black men. I also brought you a video where you had a woman that stated that she wanted to, specifically her and the sisters were directly out there working within hoodoo, voodoo, whatever it is, and they cast a spell right on Kevin Samuels to get him out of here. And then the same threat within that video was like, well, black men, you saw what it is that we did with him. If you don't get yourselves in order, we're going to do the same things to you. That's the type of thing that we're dealing with at this moment in time. Instead of people trying to get in contact with the spirits of the ancestors in order to better the whole of the community, they're just using it solely for selfish vengeance because of whatever it is that they may have went through personally in their lives with whatever men that they dealt with. They want to generalize and throw this on every single black man out there and dictate that this is every single black man and all of you guys. Like I said, it's nonsense. You're willing to advocate for a guy that had a 13-year-old living girlfriend and he's your hero. That's how far gone we are at this moment in time. This man that you see in front of you is their hero because Tory Lanez as a black man is a villain. That's crazy. Like I said, you can't make this stuff up. And this is also what happens when people refuse to do their research and they just want to go off of their emotions and thinking that they're 1000%. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.